Hello and welcome to Stretford, Paddock on Monday the 20th of April 2020. I'm here for the news this morning, the paper talk. This camera never likes to focus on me, does it? But don't worry about that, you can hear me, you can see me, that's all that matters. How's everyone doing at home, first of all? How was your weekend? Another fine weekend, another great day of weather we're having. Might go out for a walk later, but that's not important. Today, what is important, we're going to be looking at Paul Pogba, and over the weekend there has been a little update, a little suggestion, further talk about a potential deal, this time coming from BBC sources, so we're going to get into that. We're also going to be looking at these new leaked kits. We kind of saw rumours of them a couple of months ago, but it seems as though there is a first team kit, a home kit, a second kit, and a third kit, all pretty much, I wouldn't say confirmed by any means, but certainly there are three specific kits that are being leaked over and over again, and we're going to have a look at them. And to say they're controversial, I would say is an understatement. I've hardly seen anyone say they like them so far, but I might change that in a little bit. But first of all, let's get into this Paul Pogba story then. And this, like I said, is coming from a strange kind of collection of sources, a strange sort of storyline of sources here, where we've heard over the last few weeks, there's been a few things going on. So first of all, and this was a couple of months ago now, because this was before the lockdown happened. This is while we were still in the studio. I remember this story breaking of, I think it was in the Daily Mail, that Paul Pogba would be open to keeping himself at Manchester United for at least another year, even maybe going as far as to sign a new deal at Manchester United. And then there's maybe not. That doesn't sound quite right. Maybe it's because there's no one available to buy him. Maybe it's because he's changed his mind and he wants to stay now. Bruno's there, that kind of thing. That story's been going on for a while. Then that kind of died away a little bit. And then in the last couple of weeks, we've seen Paul Pogba on 4 or 5 sort of official United outlets, on podcasts, on Hangouts, this sort of thing, doing a lot more on social media as well. I know you're probably bored sat in the house, but he's doing these challenges with Zlatan and this sort of thing, and we saw training videos with him and Victor Lindelof a few weeks ago as well, and there seems to be a lot more of him sort of in a United regard, which again, not necessarily anything by itself, but it's another kind of small tidbit of encouragement, shall we say, in terms of his dedication to United. And then the next thing that happened, again, we're hearing these stories that, Juventus can't really afford him. Juventus really want him, but they can't afford him. Raiola saying, I want to take a world-class player to Real Madrid this summer. And you think, well, he can't go to Real Madrid and Juventus. And it seems as though that he's being linked with both of them, because maybe he'd be willing to go to either, but almost like neither of them can really afford him. So we'll just keep mentioning both, because surely one of them can afford him. If Real Madrid have decided they don't want him, then Juventus will want him. But maybe not. And then further in that, over the weekend, Howard Nurse, who is a name that had been up until this weekend sort of unknown to me, but he's the digital football editor at BBC Sport, verified on Twitter. Again, not considered an official sort of BBC source as far as Reddit is concerned. I don't know whether he hasn't been given a tier rating or whether he just kind of, digital football editor, whether that doesn't warrant a tier rating or that kind of thing. Maybe he's just, again, like I said, he's sort of new to me. Not that I'm sure, he hasn't been around for a long time, but in terms of transfer dealings, in terms of this kind of thing, his presence isn't one that I was aware of. But he tweeted quite a bit of chatter that Paul Pogba is in the process of agreeing a Manchester United contract extension, one for Simon Stone to check out, which obviously sent everyone into a bit of mayhem. A lot of GIF replies, a lot of pictures of Ed Woodward on the phone, and people saying that he's doing good things, which of course offers a lot of promise there, because not only is it's someone who's pretty well sourced, they're also telling Simon Stone, who of course everyone is aware of who Simon Stone is. If you aren't, he's a reporter for BBC Sport, and is very reliable in terms of transfers. Asking him to looking into this detail. Is again quite a bit of chatter, which suggests to me, there's a couple of things that suggest to me, or there's a couple of potential things that it could be. One is, it's the chatter that we've all seen. The Daily Mail posted about it. I think the Sun mentioned it as well a while ago. But the other option is that there are these sort of behind the scenes chatter. Now, chatter can be oh, I've heard it from this press officer, I've heard it from this footballer, I've heard it when we were talking about this podcast, or Henry Winter mentioned, not Henry Winter, but there may be a bit more of there's a sort of a kind of off the record underbelly of rumours that goes along in pretty much every. I mean, you have it at your work, wherever it would be. Oh, we all know about this. Did you hear about what she did? The official word is that no one knows that she's cheated on her husband, but really everyone in the back room is talking about it. And this sort of thing happens in every walk of life, every job, and it happens in football, of course. So it's hard to know whether this chatter is public chatter that we've seen, or whether it's this behind-the-scenes sort of chatter that someone like Howard Nurse, the digital football editor for BBC Sport, would be privy to that maybe we aren't. Again, Simon Stone there, someone replied to him because he was tagged in that tweet and didn't reply to it. Someone said, Simon, can you comment on your colleague's BBC Sport reported suggesting Pogba may sign a new contract? And he said, in a sort of slightly squashing of this, but also not completely ruling it out, he said, I don't think he was saying that. He was reflecting that other people were saying it, which again is what the chatter portion of that tweet was suggesting. Again, it's hard to know exactly, isn't it, with Paul Pogba? There's this. It seems as though Eric Sklenar saying Pogba only staying because no one has put in a serious offer for him. It seems as though he's sort of keeping 2 or 3 options open here. He's keeping open the option of moving. He's keeping open the option of staying. Moving to Juventus or Real Madrid seemingly, and staying at Manchester United. Which, in terms of, there's a lot of talk about him of whether he puts the effort in, whether he's disrespectful, the whole Souness thing that won't go away. But I think, if he decides to stay and he decides to sign a new contract at United, I don't think there's many people that would say that he's not one of our best players, if not our best player. It's just an interesting sort of arena that we're in at the moment, because obviously everything that's going on with the current climate, we're not quite sure how that will affect transfers. We're not quite sure whether market value will drop or whether only certain transfers will be able to take place because people can't afford to lose their players when they've only got less time to sign new ones, assuming that the end of the season is this truncated June to July finish, and then we're starting again in 6 weeks later. So it's going to be hard to see hard to predict, exactly how this is all going to play out and how the current sort of crisis that we're in is going to affect football transfers. So I think it's wise of Paul Pogba to keep his options open. You think of it from a selfish perspective, he might have to stay at United, or he might choose to stay at United. I think he does like Manchester United. He does have love for the club. He came back to United when he didn't need to, when he was at one of the biggest clubs in terms of trophy winning in Europe, and came to United, who had been struggling. He clearly has admiration and love for the club, but at the same time, I don't think many people would blame him too much if he wanted to go and win big trophies elsewhere. Not that means you have to love him if he for doing such a thing, but I think we can all sort of understand it a little bit. But I think as well, he wouldn't be too against staying. So what's the best thing for him to do? You've got to keep your options open. You look at David De Gea, a player who clearly wanted to join Real Madrid, has stayed. Obviously, he's not been enjoying his best form in the last sort of 8 months or so. But I think, there's never been too many sort of questions, never been too many upset people about the fact that he joined Real Madrid, he signed the contracts, he signed all that stuff, and there's a password protection problem or a fax machine problem or whichever rumour you want to believe about why that didn't happen right at the final seconds there. But he's not been one that's been tarnished with this. Well, he didn't want to be here, so he needs to leave. He came back from that and was the best goalkeeper in the world for another 2 years. Cristiano Ronaldo's another one. After we won the Champions League in 2008, he was basically promised that he could join Real Madrid a year later, and he stayed another year. And at that time, he did get a bit of stick, but nothing like what Paul Pogba's getting. So I don't think it's not a new thing to see players want to leave and then still stay. But what would you all think to it if he did stay? Let me hear in the comments what you think. When you played the game of Stones, you either win or die. Yeah, that's talking about Simon Stone there. I think he'll go in the summer. He's just playing the game so United will sell him. He wants to win the league, Champions League. We can win it next 2 seasons. Do we need this baggage for another season? Well, I guess that's one of the downsides, isn't it? It's not just, is he injured, is he playing or not? There's always going to be a lot of controversy around him, even if he doesn't really do anything wrong. I want Joe to answer. I genuinely want to know why people give credit to Simon Stone. Because he's a very reliable journalist who usually when he tweets about things is pretty spot on and has proven himself to be that over many years. Yeah. Mitts on the munch eating cornflakes. His mitts in the comments somewhere maybe. Mr. Popadom7. I don't really actually. But if you want to, get stuck in. That fax machine, yeah, exactly. Saved us a few times. That fax machine, didn't it? I'd be delighted if he stayed. Yeah, there's the other side of things. There are people who would be delighted if he did stay. Joe, why does Simon Stone get so much credit and classed as reliable when he's constantly incorrect? I don't think he is constantly incorrect. I think, like anyone, even with good sources, sometimes there is, stories that come out or things that seem close to happening, and they are close to happening. You can report on that thing happening, and then it doesn't happen. But that doesn't mean that it was never close to happening. It does. I can't remember a time I've seen him say this deal will happen and then it didn't. There's always this thing of United are targeting this guy, or terms are agreed, or this is. We've seen it before, as we always try out. I think it was Aaron Ramsey, wasn't it? Where United released a statement on their own website saying that we'd agreed terms for Aaron Ramsey. So you can be as close as you like to a transfer happening. It doesn't mean it will happen. But what you have to do is you assume that when United wrote that post, terms had been agreed. Just because that transfer never came through, you wouldn't class Manchester United as an unreliable transfer source, would you? Do you know what I mean? So I think, people sometimes report things that don't happen, but assuming they're framed correctly and they're phrased properly and what was accurate for the time of reporting, I think you have to give some people a bit of leeway because his general track record is very good. And as we know, like I said, the Aaron Ramsey situation, there's a few of them, Robin, John Obi Mikel, another one, where all nicked by Chelsea, weirdly. They like doing that, don't they? Where even the most well-placed sources in the world would tell you this deal is going to happen, and then it doesn't. And you can't necessarily blame the source or the reporter for reporting on what seemed like good information at the time. Anyway, let's move on to this is a bit of fun, this one now. Not quite late night live levels of fun, but a bit more than paper talk usually. Manchester United's new kits. Oh, it's not looking good. Well, I say it's not looking good. I like them. But not a lot of people are unhappy about this, so let's get this up. 2021 kits leaked. So we saw, let me just try and get this to focus in. Come on. It just goes straight behind me, look. It likes focusing in on these for some reason. I used to have a manual focus, but then I moved the camera around and it went all weird. Anyway, we saw this kit potentially leaked a couple of months ago and everyone was like, nah, no chance. It looks like something from a kid's colouring book. That's not going to be the kit. And then it's the only one that's been leaked over and over and over again. And now we're seeing these mock-ups of Marcus Rashford wearing these kits. Should we just have a look at the kits? There's a home kit, an away kit, and a third kit that have all been released, each with varying levels of criticism and critique. So here they are. Let's move over a little bit. Right, so starting from your left to right, this is the new home kit, of course, red kit. And you see this sort of mottled white kind of Minecraft torch inverted pattern on this one. This is the one, the away kit, which seemingly, a lot of people seem to like this kit. Green and gold-ish, or grey and yellow, depending on your eyesight. And then this one is the third kit, which is a sort of a Salvador Dali zebra Picasso-y type expressionist deal going on here. Again, receiving a lot of criticism. Let me know, first of all, what you think to all of these kits in the comments. Someone says, I kind of like the red one. Guilty pleasure, black and white zebra away one that reminds me of a 12-hour bender on Class A's. Again, maybe shouldn't have read that comment, but it wasn't very specific. These kits are worse than the Warrior ones made for Liverpool a few years back. How dare you? Some of the most hideous bits of upholstery the world has ever seen. Those kits, and I won't hear it. Oh dear, oh dear. Right. Do you want to know something? Here's my take on this. Not that anyone cares, but here we go. This kit is obviously very nice. The away kit is a lovely kit. Crew neck. Oh, also, what should be shown here is on. I just got this picture because it's got all three kits nicely in one picture. But actually, this kit has got a sort of fake collar. What seems to be a fake collar printed on it. So it almost looks like a polo shirt collar, like this. So it comes down like this and goes round, but it isn't actually on there. It's just printed on. So that's another thing to deal with. But I just went with this picture because it's got all three kits nice on it. This kit is I think we can all say that's a pretty nice kit. assuming that is the kit, the green and gold kit there. Lovely kit. Don't need to worry about that. This kit and this kit are receiving a lot of criticism. But here's my thing, right? In the last few years, or the last 2 or 3 years, there's been this huge emphasis on retro kits coming back. Look at this retro kit, look at this. We're basing it on the 98 kit, we're basing it on this kit, we're basing it on that kit. Arsenal came out with 2 kits this year that were based on like kits they've already had. Like, in recent years, there's been a big shift into football shirts becoming sort of popular culture and sort of streetwear, that kind of thing. It's kind of cool to wear retro kits again. And with that came a sort of an influx of these old kits being sort of brought back and re-released and stuff. And I was, oh, these are so cool. Remember the Holland one, remember the Germany one, remember all this and this. And whilst that's all well and good, I was always of the mind of, why are we just recreating old kits to cash in on this current sort of spike of interest in retro kits? When really, those kits at the time, the Holland one especially, was very poorly received, even by the players. A lot of the players weren't a big fan of that, the orange one with all the patterns on it. And it's only retroactively where people have looked, or retrospectively, where people have looked back and gone, that was cool, that kit, wasn't it? And I think the same with these kits. I'm happy that United aren't just remaking an old kit. They've gone with a new, weird-looking style. And it is weird. And does it look a little bit like a train seat on East Midlands Main Line? Yes, it does. It does look like that. But, I'm happy that we've actually gone with a weird style that's new, that isn't just some old retro kit that's been redone to cash in on the fact that retro kits are cool again. These are the sort of kits that when they come out, people slag them off. But in 15 years, this one especially, people will be wearing this walking around the street, going, remember how class this kit was? We loved it at the time, didn't we? No, you didn't. You slagged it off. But it's good because it's interesting and it's different. And it's not just a rehashing of some old retro kit. I really like that they've gone a bit bold with it and they've gone a bit exciting with it. Retroactive means done something that was an action that was done after the fact, ish. Someone says at the end of the day everyone will still buy them. Will they be able to see each other when wearing the third kit? There is also a thing about this third kit where there are some rules as to how much of a pattern and how many different lines and shapes and patterns a kit can have. So I wonder whether that, I'm guessing that falls, assuming this is the kit, falls in line with those things. Love the away kit, green and gold, yeah, it is good. Someone says, I take it back, you must be smoking crack if you rate them. I think they're nice. The home kit is a bit weird, but I think I'll grow to love it. The third kit I think looks really nice, the zebra one. If you wear the third kit, you won't appear on CCTV. So, exactly. The black and white away kit is fire, yeah, exactly. I honestly think these are the sorts of kits that will go down as, look how good these kits were, when actually at the time everyone slagged them off. That's my personal opinion. Stephen Housen also sent me this picture. Does it look a little bit, the home kit look a little bit like the curtain in the background of this picture? It does a little bit, doesn't it? Very similar. And that was Stephen Housen, age 9. So he's been in fashion, he's been in and around that new kit for a very long time. So, you've got to give him some props there. But personally, I really like the new kits. Also, it doesn't really matter, does it? It's interesting to see the new ones, but who really cares? If they're winning it, we'll like it. If they're losing it, we'll slag them off. But I personally am happy that they've gone with something a bit weird that isn't just a remake of an old kit that we already know we like. Yes, Arsenal's kit was nice last season, but it was nice 25 years ago when it came out as well. I like that we've gone for something a bit weird, a bit new, and something that we can look back on and go, remember when we did that? Rather than the rest of the kits where it's just like, oh, it's red, it's got some white on it, it's red, it's got some black on it. It's red, it's got upside down Minecraft torches, it looks like a train seat, it looks like a bus seat. This one looks like a zebra that's been like put in a blender, and we can all agree this one is just lovely. Right. Next season getting cancelled anyway, probably because of these kits. Everybody hates the new kit until they see someone wearing it, then they'll love it. Like they did with the pink kit, yeah, exactly. Looks like a Stagecoach bus kit 3, looks like a seizure. Yeah, there is potential problems with someone. If you turn really quick in that third kit, the eyes, I don't think Cam should look at that. What type of shorts would go with the zebra print? I would guess either red or black. Obviously, it's a lot of red piping on there, but I can't think of a kit where we've had red shorts before, so it gets a bit Liverpool territory, that, doesn't it? So I would guess black shorts with maybe, I don't know, I would guess black shorts and maybe white socks. When When Maguire's lifting the trophy next season, we won't care what the kit looks like. Exactly. If we win anything in these kits, they will be so collectible because they are, not now obviously because too many have been made, but they are interesting and weird looking kits. And it's the first time we've had an actually weird looking kit. Do you remember the reversible kit we had that was white on one side, gold on the other? That was the last time United actually had a kit, in my eyes, that was experimental and weird enough to be put on these categories. I think these are really good. Joe, you should buy the third kit. I might do. I don't really buy kits usually, but I'll see what it looks like, but I might do. When is the Chevrolet deal over? Any kit looks awful with that on it. I believe it is over 2021, so this is the final season with Chevrolet. ZOT sums it up perfectly, and we'll leave on that. No shorts needed with the third kit. You won't be distracted by the tackle. You're going to be looking at the kit up top, so no shorts needed, and no one will even notice. Someone says they don't scream class, they scream epilepsy. Great point. Again, so ugly, horrible. No one likes these kits except me. Someone saying lol. Yeah, people aren't a big fan of these kits, are they? We'll slag them off now, but but buy and wear them when the season starts. It's Ed Woodward's retaliation for the abuse he gets. I honestly think they're really nice. Get the new kit. No, I can't read that. I can't read that. Kamutra, I trusted you there. I was going to read that out, and obviously I can't. Yeah, too much like the grey kit. Disregarded at halftime at Southampton. Discarded. Yeah. Players saying they couldn't see each other. Yeah, that does worry me a little bit about that third kit. What's the new sponsor? I don't think that's been announced yet. I like the black stripe first kit. Oh yeah, the one where it sort of transitioned from red to black at the bottom. That was pretty good. I think that was last season, wasn't it? Yeah, that was pretty nice. But personally, someone says I love both away kits. Yeah, I love both away kits as well. And I actually think that the home kit is rather fetching as well, even if it does look like a bus seat, and it does look like a bus seat. Literally this East Midlands main line. If anyone's ever taken the East Midlands main line, which I have, I thought, I know that kit somewhere, and it's that in it. But, give it 20 years, we'll all look back on that kit. They'll be collectible as hell because it's actually a bit interesting. Right, that's going to be all from me. Cam Waters says, new Chelsea sponsor is awful. Just a massive 3 logo. That sounds pretty grim. I like the red and the middle kit. Red reminds me of 92, 93. Without the Chevrolet logo, they could be alright. I don't even mind the Chevrolet logo. I don't really care that much about the kits. I just think they look cool. I like them. Love the white and gold reversible. Yeah, that was great, wasn't it? So hot though, because the actual players version, I don't know if anyone remembers, it was when Bartes was there. It was 2003-4 maybe. The European kit, or the third kit, was reversible. It was gold on one side, it had a collar, and white on the other side. The one that the players wore was either wore a gold shirt or a white shirt. Theirs wasn't reversible. But the one that you bought, it was basically 2 shirts stitched together. It was the thickest and hottest shirt of all time. You used to wear it and feel like you're going to throw up, even on a winter day. It was so hot, that shirt. 2 shirts sewn together, basically. So thick, so hot, unbearable. Right, that's going to be all from me today. Second kit looks like the Wolves away kit. I think it looks nice. That's going to be all from me today. Let me know in the comments what you think to these kits. Whether you think we'll look back on these kits in 10 years and say, you know what, at least they tried to do something different. I personally really like them. I think they're a bit weird, they're a bit fun, and they're trying to be sort of interesting, exciting kits, which we've seen a real comeback of recently, but without just rehashing an old retro kit. Because anyone can do that, I can do that. Just pick an old nice one that we all decided we like now. Nah, you've got to be the ones trailblazing, putting out these weird kits. And if you win something in them, everyone will be happy. Right, that's going to be all from me. We're going to be back later on today for Howson's Brew. That should be very good. We've got an MLS player on that as well, so get your questions in for someone who plays in the MLS. I'm going to be back tomorrow for the news in the morning as per usual. Hope you all have a great day. Go out for a walk, enjoy yourselves. Once again, 20th of April on Monday. Keep the dates important. That's important, that. Mental health. Keep the dates, make your bed, all that sort of stuff. We'll see you next time.